don't hate me, but I think I may have given some unintentional bad advice when it comes to 3, 4, and even 5-night cruises. I used to not recommend them. However, I may have changed my mind, but it's not for the reasons you might think. Hi there, I'm Ilana from the website lifewellcruise.com. Welcome to my channel. Now, for anybody who has been cruising for a long time, you know what we all used to say: don't take a short cruise because it is not the same experience as a 7-night or longer cruise. And while I still think that that is true, there have definitely been some changes over the last couple of years, and yes, I have changed my mind. So whether you're a first-time cruiser or a seasoned cruiser, we need to talk about what's changed, what short cruisers are really like now, as well as some of the negative points and why still you may not want to book them, and what to watch out for if you're considering them. Now, before I get started, I did want to mention that if you like this video, if you find it helpful, informative, or enjoyable in any way, then please do give this video a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. And please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Let's get started. Number 1. So let's start off with the thing that has changed the most in the last couple of years, and this is that there are now more options. Now, it used to be that if you were going to take a 3-day cruise or a 4-day cruise, you were almost always going to have an older ship from the cruise line, a ship that was probably not very well upkept, and really a ship that wasn't representative of what a cruise with that cruise line is really like. However, we have now seen in the last couple of years a little bit of changes, but this year and into 2026 and beyond, there are big changes. Now, in particular, we are seeing that Royal Caribbean and Celebrity are putting some of their most popular ships and even newer ships into the short cruise market. Now, I'm not only talking about 3, 4, and 5-night sailings, but even 2-night sailings. As an example, Royal Caribbean's Oasis of the Seas, and no, it is not their newest ship. However, it has been refurbished. It is the Oasis class. It is definitely a great ship and a popular ship, but it is even doing 2-night sailings that are going to Perfect Day at Coco Cay. Now, a 2-night sailing isn't for everybody, but you've got 3, 4, and 5-night sailings on new Royal Caribbean ships like Utopia of the Seas. But Celebrity, I was actually shocked when I went to research this video, because not only do they have their 3 and 4-night sailings on Celebrity Silhouette and Celebrity Reflection, which, by the way, I did recently, but they have Celebrity Ascent and Celebrity Beyond doing some shorter sailings next year. Now, of course, it's not only these cruise lines. You do have a lot of options these days for those shorter sailings. Now, this includes Virgin Voyages, which has always had 4 and 5-night sailings, so that's a great option. You have Princess Cruises, you have MSC Cruises, and more. A weekend cruise or a short getaway. Now, I will still talk about some of the negatives a little bit later in this video, but a definite positive is if you want to have a short weekend break. You know, most of the time we would do that maybe in Vegas, maybe you do a weekend in New York, maybe you do a weekend in Florida, anything like that. But now you could do that 3 or 4-day getaway on a cruise ship. And like I mentioned, even a 2-day, which did surprise me, but when I took a look at the itinerary, it does make sense. Since you're only heading over to the Bahamas, you can actually have that day in Perfect Day at Coco Cay, and then head right back to Florida the following morning. Now, while the short cruise will never be as relaxing or as fulfilling, I think, as a longer vacation, sometimes that short getaway can still be rejuvenating and just what we need. Number 3, port intensive. So if you like to visit destinations and you don't like a lot of sea days, oftentimes you're going to find that you're going to visit 1, 2, or 3 ports during those short sailings. In essence, you're going to have time to visit those different destinations. Now, if you're somebody who likes to get off the cruise ship, that is perfect. But even if you're somebody who likes sea days, you love to just stay on the ship, this can still be beneficial, as a lot of people are going to still get off that ship. And if you stay on, you're going to have a much quieter and relaxing experience on board. Number 4, it is a great group or friends cruise environment. Now, we recently sailed on board Celebrity Silhouette for a 3-day cruise. And this was really enjoyable for us. But what I noticed when we spoke with a lot of the other passengers is a lot of people were on with either larger or smaller groups. Now, this included ladies celebrating their 50th birthdays together, which I thought was just fabulous. We also saw bachelor parties, bachelorette parties, and that makes a lot of sense because with a 3-day weekend, oftentimes people can actually take that time. Now, we saw some family reunions, which I thought was fabulous. We met some people that were 16 people, ages, I think, 8 all the way to over 70, and they were able to celebrate together. And because they weren't taking an entire week's vacation, even the college kids were able to come. Now, I particularly like this as I know for many of us, as our kids get older or people just have different responsibilities, sometimes it's hard to plan that multi-generational family vacation for that longer sailing, but most people can still manage a weekend away. Now, I am curious if you're a first-time cruiser or a more experienced cruiser, what your thoughts are on that. What is the ideal first-time cruiser cruise length? Short cruises are cheaper. Well, they're cheaper and they're not, right? Because per night, they're probably about the same as longer cruises. And in some cases, they may even be a little bit more. But the fact is, when you're going on a shorter cruise, you still are putting out less money upfront out of your budget. And by the way, in my own personal experience, and I did a 4-day cruise with Royal Caribbean last year and a 3-day cruise with Celebrity this year. And those days on the cruise still cost me less than the equivalent time that I would have spent at a hotel when I added up my meals and my entertainment. Now, I definitely do have some negatives, and I think that this isn't for everybody. We'll talk about that in just a minute, but I have a little bit of a bonus as well. Sometimes a short cruise is a great time to try out a different type of cabin or room. So maybe you usually get an inside room. This is a great time to try out a balcony because the cost difference isn't going to be as much, or you might even find a great deal on a suite. All right, so what are some of the negatives and the things that you want to watch out for? And I'm going to share a couple of these from personal experience. So firstly, you want to watch out for when that short sailing is in terms of the dates. Are the kids out of school? Because if the kids are out of school, that short sailing may not be an adult party ship. It may be a family party ship. And if there are a lot of kids on board and you're having a bachelor party or a ladies' 50th celebration, this may not be the atmosphere that you want. So you definitely want to watch that. Now, the other thing that you want to watch out for is how much of a party ship is it? Is it the kind of party that you want? And every ship is going to be different. So you really want to make sure that you do your research, that you read reviews, because even though there's a lot more options, there are still some options that may not suit you. The service probably won't be what you expect on a longer cruise. Now, it really isn't, in my opinion, the fault of the crew on the cruise, but let's face it, when they only have 3 or 4 days to get to know the cruise passengers, well, they are working really hard, and you're just not going to have that relationship that you might develop over a longer sailing. At the same time, that first day of the cruise and the last day of the cruise, those are really stressful days, not only for the cruise passengers, although they are obviously very fun, especially embarkation day. But on the crew, this is a very challenging day for them, the turnaround day. And let's face it, on shorter sailings, so on 2, 3, and 4-day cruises, this turnaround day is happening more often than on longer sailings. You cannot do or try everything. So of course, on a shorter sailing, you have to make some choices. You might want to do every activity. You might want to go to all of the different specialty restaurants, any of the different things, even try all of the different foods, and you're just not going to be able to do that. So what you will need to do is either plan another cruise that's also a short cruise, or perhaps even better, you might want to book a longer cruise for next time. And you never get settled in. You never truly feel relaxed. And this was, I'd say, probably one of the only negatives of our short sailing that we did. The fact is, it was so exciting on embarkation day. We always unpack, so I did unpack, but it seemed like as soon as we were unpacked, Suddenly it was time to pack up again and go home. Now, if you are wondering what doing a 3-day cruise with celebrity is really like, I'll leave our cruise review right after this, but I'd love to hear from you. Are you pro or con short sailings? Please let me know your thoughts and experiences down in the comments below. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give it a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. And please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Bye for now and happy cruising.